Candace Owens recently announced on X and her show that the 92 people who support Erica Kirk are mentally unwell. So I'm going to make a new series about the followers of Candace Owens, since they're, better example of mental wellness. So Cheryl here makes a post in response to a comment Candace made. And she's basically says you can read it for yourself. She calls Candace crazy, but she says that husbands are watching their wives disappear down this rabbit hole, and that it's destroying marriages. Okay. In response, this guy Bob says, that's so interesting. I work with lots of blue-collar men, and I've heard the exact opposite. She says, what industry? He says, construction, and I have good buddies who are welders, who also have wives, girlfriends, who listen to Candace. They actually bond over it. Cheryl responds, interesting. I don't know many guys in construction, but I know a ton of welders, and every one of them who knows about her will tell you that Candace is crazy. Their wives and girlfriends aren't crazy either, though, so there is that. Bob responds, I've come across one guy who would agree with you, and he's about 50 years old, and he still thinks the government still has our best interests at heart. All the younger folk aren't buying it. Cheryl responds, that's a completely different conversation. We were specifically talking about Candace Owens and her theories about Charlie Kirk's death. Now, in response to that, and, just to note that her and Bob were having a pretty decent back and forth. They weren't, insulting each other, nothing, they are obviously disagreeing, debating, whatever, but they're not being, overtly hostile to each other. Then in response, this Rylan McHugh responds, you're a woman and a wife, right? Why do you know so many blue-collar men and talk to enough to say that? How does the conversation even go for you to know their opinions? Either a harlot or a bald-faced liar. I seem to be the only person on site aware of anything. So Cheryl responds, I'm a woman and a widow, which is quite evident after spending 2 seconds on my page. That tells me you're not really aware of much at all. Good try, though. You can see how Rylan quickly escalated things and went straight to a heavy insult, called her a harlot and a liar. She responded, to defend herself, and she did well. But she didn't do a heavy insult back at him. He responds, I honestly don't give a F. You're not arguing with the Candace or Barron or Tucker. I have no need to be politically correct. I'll talk how and as I please. Since you're advocating the opinions of blue-collar men, I have no interest to look at your page, you scruff. And when I click on her actual reply about being a widow, he actually made several replies to that one comment. So the first one was the one I just read, but then the second one, I actually envy your husband. He no longer has to draw breath anywhere near you. You cretin. Wow, to say that to a widow. How cruel and evil. Next one, I am completely self-reliant. I don't depend on anyone. Words, comments, nothing any of you can do can affect me. My business will continue to run and be successful. My patience has worn thin. I will be front line leading the charge on this war against evil. You Jezebel. Then, may your husband rest in piss. These are the people who support Candace Owens. This is their mentality. This is their type of Christianity. This is how they believe they war against evil. This is how they fight evil. Telling a widow for her husband to rest in piss is fighting evil. This in itself is evil. These are very evil responses coming from someone who, I don't even know what to call him, honestly. But these are the mentally well people who support Candace Owens. This is another comment he made on that thread. Literally, bro, I can't just jump on a plane. I'm not built the same as Candace, Tucker. I have no patience nor the need to be politically correct. I'd rather simply beat the F out of folk. Here's another comment he left on that thread. Are you going to tell me I'm a bot? Brother, it's not difficult to exchange details. My name is blank. DM me on Insta. On my own expense, I'd be happy to travel to your doorstep. Drip. Cheryl asks somebody else, really, what's your trade? And Rylan responds, B, you ask questions, get an answer, then don't respond. Who is your husband? A grown man calling a woman a B over, I don't even know what. I don't know why he's so angry about this. These are the Christians who support Candace Owens. And yes, he's a Christian, as you can see in this photo. Here is another post that this Rylan person responded to. It's by Paramount Tactical. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Him and Ian are going back and forth on the K9s. Okay. So, and wait, just to go back to this. They're not really insulting each other. I mean, there's a little bit, but they're accusing each other of lying. They're both accusing each other of lying, but they're not doing heavy insults back and forth, okay? They're really just arguing the facts and calling each other liars, okay? Rylan responds to Gary of Paramount Tactical. I would love, emphasis on love, nothing more than to be locked in a room with you. No weapons, no nothing. to see if only one could walk out, who it'd be. I weigh 155 on a good day. I have no doubt in my mind I could do whatever I want or please with you. You're a coward and a bully. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. I can't even believe that was the response to him having a disagreement with Ian about the facts of a murder investigation. That's his response. And then to call Gary a bully when he wants to cause physical harm to Gary and maybe other things, because what does he mean by I could do whatever I want or please with you? Like, that sounds a little odd. I'm not gonna even say it, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm just not gonna say it. Anyway, then this person responds, AB, so many bots and sock puppet accounts in Gary's comments. UK, Australia, and Canada are the usuals. To which he responds with where he lives, so I'm blocking that out. But it's out of the country, it's not in America. And he says, I'll be happy to, on my own expense, travel to you and beat the F out of ya. Darg? Did he mean dog? Whatever. And notice how this is all in caps. All in caps, he says, I'll be happy to, on my own expense, travel to you and beat the F out of ya. Wow. Wow. That's the response to being called a bot and pointing out that he's not American. The response is a threat of violence. These are the people who support Candace Owens. Do you see the mindset? Do you see how demonic this is? This is demonic. Another reply he made, this one to Bren. So Bren says, Candace, Erica killed Charlie. Andrew, I disagree. Let's debate. Candace, sure, but you need to pay me $300K. You must debate at my house. I'm allowed to have an earpiece in so my team can feed me answers using ChatGPT. And oh, you cannot ask me to provide evidence to support my claims that Erica killed Charlie. WTF. So what's his response? Well, Ryland says, pray that you and I never bump paths. What? Because Bren said that this is the normal mentally well response. Who does that? That's what he goes to, not disagreeing what he says, not even just saying you're a liar, you're lying, this is dumb, this is just a stupid thing to say. Nothing like that. Nope, just straight to a threat of violence. On this post, Mike writes, Tyler, I killed Charlie Kirk because he hates trans people and I love my trans boyfriend. Candace Owens worshippers, no, Tyler, we love you. You didn't kill Charlie. It was Erica Kirk and the Jews. I'm so glad this psyop is finally shattering. 9-to-1 ratio of these freaks being relentlessly mocked in the replies of the Free Tyler conspiracy slop posts. So this enrages Rylan, and he writes, pray that we never cross paths. I'll pop them water-filled arms and smash your head clean in, you clown. So Mike makes a post making fun of Candace's fans, and I get that he's insulted by what he said, but to escalate to violence, to threats, it's just ridiculous. But worse, it's evil. This person is just very evil, and I'm going to continue this, and I'm going to show how evil these people can be. The way they speak to other people, the way they speak to strangers, it's just very sick. The evil that Candace is brewing and the hate that she's inciting, not just for Erica Kirk, but for people who support her. It's just very evil and it's demonic. There's demonic forces behind this and it needs to be exposed. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to start exposing it. And hopefully people will wake up and realize that they're aligning themselves with something very demonic. So subscribe to follow along. Hit like, hit subscribe. Share the video, do all the things, get the word out there. People need to know.